It's Vlogmas, and although I am no longer a vlog channel, I still wanted to do a video series in December that related to the content that I post on my channel, which now is Christian dating advice, newlywed inspiration, all those things. So I decided, why not give some specific personal relationship advice to specific scenarios that I found online or got sent personally, so we can all learn and be encouraged. So today's relationship scenario is about a long distance situation with a Christian couple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read to you all the story, the situation, the scenario, and then I'm going to give my biblically based advice as well as advice from my own personal experience in the dating world as a once single Christian woman to now happily married to an amazing God-fearing man. So let's get into the situation. It starts with, hi, I'm a 26-year-old Christian Black woman, and I've been in a long-distance relationship for about a year now. My boyfriend and I are deeply committed to our faith, and we've been navigating this journey together with God at the center. Love to hear that, sis. Lately, I've been feeling a bit disconnected from him. I'm not sure how to address it without causing unnecessary conflict. Our communication has been sporadic, and I find myself overthinking his intentions or feeling rejected when he doesn't respond promptly. I know he's busy with work and life, but I can't shake this feeling of insecurity. I want our relationship to flourish, but I'm not sure how to communicate my feelings without sounding clingy or creating unnecessary drama. As a Christian, I believe in the power of prayer and seeking guidance in the Word, and I'm struggling to find the right balance between expressing my needs and trusting God's plan. So I would like some advice about the situation. So let's give her some advice. So my first to-do item, and if you watch my channel, I always say this, and that is to pray about your situation. I first want you to pray about whether or not this boyfriend of yours is even who God wants you to be with. I cannot tell you the amount of times that people marry people or people date people who truthfully they have no business dating, who God never said that was their husband, that was their wife, nothing. But because they happen to meet them at school or happen to meet them at work or happen to meet them down the road and things are good, they think it's the one. This person dated for 1 year, so it's debatable. Some people think that's a long time, some people think it's not a long time. I think it's right in the middle. I think it's a good amount of time. I would hope that this author has prayed during the course of her 1 year whether this man is the one for her. And the reason why I think it's so important to pray about whether the person that you're dating is the one, if you're in marrying age, like I'm talking about 19 and up. People are getting married earlier. Gen Zers, y'all are getting married earlier these days. So I think if you're dating from 19 and up seriously, like your intention is to get married soon, definitely pray that your person that you're talking to / dating is the one. The reason why I say this is so important is because if God reveals to you that he's not the one, then like the whole situation is not. Like you don't have to worry about this distance, this disconnect. You can just move on with your life. So first pray about that if you haven't already. And let's just say that you've gotten confirmation that he is the one, but still there's this disconnect. Still something is not quite right with the communication from his end, especially being the distance. I still recommend praying and trusting God's timing. Patience is super important, and I know it's hard to think about like waiting and trying to understand the situation at hand, but give those concerns and those worries to God. God is there to take that burden from you. If it's stressing you out, if it's worrying you, just give it to God. Make sure that he's aware. I mean, he's aware, but feel free to share that so that there's open communication with him. He can give you that good peace and comfort that you're looking for during this time. And also pray that God allows you to trust his timing. Being long distance is not something that people sign up for forever, and so there will be a point in time, hopefully, that you guys are no longer long distance, and that will hopefully lead itself to a different type of relationship. I recommend you trust God's timing, to wait for that time to see how things are, because things could be very drastically different when that time comes. So definitely trust God's timing, pray about the situation, give him your worries and concerns, not just writing on the internet. Definitely give it to him. My second advice is to just talk to your boyfriend. I mean, if he is your boyfriend, if you love each other, if you guys have a great relationship, there shouldn't be that much of a hesitance to share with him openly how you're feeling about the relationship, how you're feeling about the communication or lack thereof. So I would say just rip off that band-aid and have that heart-to-heart conversation with him, where you're letting him know, hey, like, things are not okay. Like, I don't like how I hardly hear from you. Like, being the distance, we have to communicate, and I just feel like I'm so unsure of what you're doing because I don't hear from you. Hopefully expressing that, thinking about like if this man is truly, a Christian man, a God-fearing man. The thought is that he would be receptive to this conversation, hear you out, understand your concerns, and do better. In the event that you speak to him and he dismisses you, he downplays you, gaslights the situation, he makes you feel like what you're asking is entirely too much, that is yet another sign he's not for you, he's not your husband, this is not worth your time, and to move on. So either way, once you communicate with him, things will change, and it might change for the better or it might change for the worse. All you need to do though is communicate and see and move accordingly. I also would urge you, in communicating and expressing how you feel, to also set some clear expectations for what you expect this relationship to be like. I feel like as women in particular, we don't do this enough, where we're dating and things are going a certain way and maybe not in the way that we would love for it to go, or maybe we just have this idea of the type of husband that we want, but we haven't yet seen our partner enact those qualities or do those things. I would recommend you communicating those expectations, you stating like, hey, if we're going to be together, I'm going to need XYZ. And for a long distance relationship, that might mean like a call every morning and every night, FaceTiming me on your breaks. You set those clear expectations. You can say what you want. And again, if your partner is not receptive, that is a sign. Take it for what it is. This is all, I don't say a test, but this is all a way to gauge whether this relationship is worth it. And by doing this, things will change either way. I would also say to just hear him out and allow him to sort of say his piece. You can assume that he's cheating on you. You can assume that he's out here, not caring about the relationship. You can assume a lot of things, but until you hear him out and hopefully he tells the truth, you won't actually know what's going on. So I also would recommend giving him space to explain like what's been going on in his life, why he hasn't been communicating, like letting him sort of state his case. And this is not like for him to defend his actions necessarily. It's kind of just more like, again, a heart-to-heart to understand where he's coming from. And the reason why this is so important is because you can then help him with whatever, he might be going through. Let's say he says the reason why he hasn't spoken to you is because work has been busy. He's just been bombarded with tasks and like it's just been difficult to keep track of everything. Then you can know from that answer that like, hey, maybe you can send him encouraging scriptures in the morning. Maybe you can, send him a little care package that's going to brighten his day. Maybe you can plan a virtual date night that you feel like will boost his mood. Maybe you'll Uber Eats him some food and a little note, or maybe a little dessert, a little encouraging note. Like maybe you can just do stuff like send him a reel that might make him laugh. Do stuff. Now that you know the situation, you can do stuff to help build him up, encourage him, alleviate some of that stress. It may not be possible to take some of that workload off of him because you're not at his job, but there might be other ways that you can be more of that helpmeet that the Bible talks about that a wife is before the ring, Not too much now, but you can still enact and practice some of those skills. If those are some of the things he mentions. So yeah, that's my advice for you with this long distance relationship. A lot of people don't even consider long distance relationships because they feel like they're too much work. But if it's for you, it's for you. If God has this person for you, if that's your husband, despite the distance, it will work. So yeah, I definitely don't say to give up on this, but once you communicate, once you pray, once you hear him out and get to the bottom of this, I really think that the relationship could be saved if it is God's will to be saved. If you guys like this type of video, comment down below your thoughts and I will continue to make more of them. I think it was pretty fun. And also comment down below any advice you would give her if, you were responding to the situation as well. And yeah, stay tuned for my other advice videos.